Right, as you might be able to see, it's a snow day. How bizarre. I don't know if you can see that from your angle, but just out the windows you can see there's a lot of snow around. Now when I say a lot of snow, I mean there's a lot of snow by our standards, by English standards. This is an awful lot of snow. I woke up this morning a little bit before 6 a.m. and looked out the window to find snow. There's maybe, I don't know, maybe we got 2 inches. Which is a lot. By our standards, that's a blizzard. It's a snowstorm is what you'd need to bring that about. So yeah, I find it really, really funny because in the UK, unlike pretty much any other country in the world that has any form of cold weather or snow pretty much brings complete paralysis to the nation. We're able to do very little. Work stops, schools close. It all kind of ends, and I find that really, really funny. I don't know why it is. I'm not sure it's because we actually have real technical difficulty in moving from A to B and driving and so on. I think it's becoming more of a tradition. So, oh, it snowed. Oh, all right, okay, close everything. Close all the schools, quick panic, close all the shops. Nobody go to work, everybody stay at home. So it's a really, really funny English tradition at the moment. It just shuts everything down. You know, if you're in Norway or Finland or, you know, many parts of the United States, snow isn't an issue in the slightest, but here in the UK, it's the end. A little smashing of snow, anything that lies on the ground, and you have to seriously kind of reconsider your plans for the day. It also, you know, even if it's snowing and there's nothing lying on the ground, you can essentially make the assumption that you'll lose 20 to 30 miles an hour off any travel that you intend to do. You're on a 70 mile an hour speed limit road, it's snowing lightly, there's no snow on the ground, everyone does 40. So yeah, it's funny. It's kind of very close to national paralysis more than anything I've ever seen. So it was really funny to wake up this morning and see some snow and then see the effect that it has on everybody. I just left the gym now. I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought I was going to get to the gym and because of the snow there'd be nobody there, but frustratingly a load of people seemed to turn up. So I don't know why that is. Maybe that really characterizes the kind of people that go to the gym just after 6 o'clock in the morning anyway. They're really determined and they're going to be going to the gym no matter what. But yeah, funny, snow day. This is, you know, we haven't had snow for a long time, you know, at least a year, I'd say. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see it. What I was going to talk about really quickly this morning was just a couple of resources that I find really, really helpful. Based around different entrepreneurs or different guys that have gone through this kind of the successful startup story in the past. So I'll name those guys, and then they've got kind of different resources associated with them. So really, really high on my list is James Altucher. He is great. If anything has been written by James, it's worth reading. If he's made any videos, he's got a blog, whatever it is, get on there. He's quite controversial. He's very, very direct. He tells you things exactly as he sees them. But he's fantastic. He's got a great background. He started and sold a number of different companies. He's now kind of in the venture capital space, but he's got a really interesting business life and also a fairly interesting personal life. He lost 15 million at one point, went bankrupt, had to sell everything, was considering committing suicide, very seriously thinking about ending his own life, and he's kind of built himself back up from there. So check anything out by James Altucher. He's written a number of books. He's got a great podcast series that's worth listening to. So James Altucher probably is my number one. Number two for me is probably Noah Kagan. So Noah is famous for being, I think he was employee number 30 at Facebook. And he was then fired just before a year was out. So he was given some stock of Facebook, but they hadn't invested. They didn't invest until a year. So he's famous for being the guy that would have had $100 million worth of Facebook stock had he not been fired. So he then went on and he was number 4 at Mint.com. headed up the marketing side of Mint, did really well there, and has since gone on to launch his own business as an online software retail business and startup advice called AppSumo. It's absolutely great. AppSumo go out there and they get really good deals on really, really good bits of kit, really, really useful tools for startups. They go and get some great discounts, and then they offer them for a short period of time. So check out appsumo.com. It's wonderful. I got a lot of time for Noah. He's done some really impressive stuff. He runs a great course called it's the 1K business course, and his challenge is to in 1 month develop a business that produces 1K worth of profit. So it's an amazing kind of mindset of just attacking problems, really seeking to validate your idea before you get into really serious kind of product builds or building your business in any way. So going out and being content with rejection. Well, not content, but not being afraid of rejection, learning to deal with rejection, and then how you move on from it, how you learn from it. So definitely check out Noah Kagan. Seth Godin has an excellent podcast series. It's called Startup School. And it's actually a recording of a seminar series that Seth Godin held a couple of years ago with, I think it was 20 or 30 different entrepreneurs who had the opportunity to spend the week with him. And the podcast series is the recording of those sessions. So a lot of really, really helpful, really smart advice from Seth Godin. And then the interaction with the different startups there as well, the different founders that are kind of asking him questions and getting feedback and taking advice. So that's absolutely excellent. He's written a number of different books as well. I've got one that I'm working my way through at the moment called Tribes, and that's really helpful. So definitely check out Seth Godin. And I think the other person that really springs to mind then is Tim Ferriss. So Tim is famous primarily for his book called The 4-Hour Workweek, which I'm reading at the moment, but he has an awful lot of other resources to that as well. I think he's also fairly well known for his website. He's got a 4-Hour Workweek blog, and there's a lot of really good content on there. He posts a fair bit of stuff, and Tim's an investor. He's kind of been in a lot of the big startups from an investment sense in Silicon Valley, and he's an advisor on the board of a lot of fairly influential companies as well. I think his kind of the strapline he's famous for is going from working, I can't remember what it was, but it was like 60 hours a week and earning $40,000 a year to working 4 hours a week and $40,000 a month. So, you know, everybody wants that. So that's really good. Again, Tim's offers really straightforward, practical, helpful advice, and you can learn a huge amount from these guys. So that's kind of my list of resources that I find really, really helpful, really inspirational, really motivational. I sometimes find that it's really easy to kind of get bogged down and frustrated, lack of progress. Oh man, this isn't working out. This isn't going too well. Why am I not signing up loads of customers? Why am I not making tens of thousands of pounds, hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds, whatever? So it's really, really useful to be able to have those resources to go back and see examples of people who've been successful, to understand some of the battles, some of the struggles that they've had, to learn from them, to see how they broke through and eventually succeeded. So I think that's it. You know, the moral of the story is you just have to work hard. Noah Kagan is an enormous proponent of that. He kind of says, look guys, you can make any business successful. You know, once the idea is relatively sound at the start, you can adjust it, you can tweak it, modify it as you go. Don't worry about that too much. Worry about the customer. Are you solving a problem for a customer? And are you going to communicate that effectively to the customer? And if so, you're going to get paid. So I think that's the work ethic thing. And, you know, it's as they say, you just have to keep going. Keep assessing where you are, keep trying to learn. Don't get bogged down, and talk to other people. Use resources, especially if you're in a situation where you're working alone. So you're a founder that's working by themselves. You don't have anybody else to work with you. You don't have an advisory board yet. There aren't any co-founders. You don't have any employees. There's no board of directors or anything like that. definitely get out there and find resources, find examples of people who've done this before. There are a lot of people who've done this before and have made it successful. Work out why it was successful. Why were they successful? What is it that they did that made it work for them? Go out there and copy them. Don't be ashamed to copy. You know, copy with pride. If something works really well, there is no reason why you can't do it, maybe with a slight modification. So yeah, that's really the message for the vlog today. It's firstly, don't be paralyzed by snow. It's only a little bit of snow. And secondly, get out there and learn. Go and learn from the people who've done this really well and are now in a position to actually offer you advice and guidance for free about what they've done. So get alongside those guys, learn from them, and yeah, I believe you'll be successful as well.